So, where I kind of left off last time was I talked a little bit about um, my friend betraying me in 2022, and I still love the guy. He's good, but what they do is they use mind control, and it sounds crazy, but it's it's true, right? And also they paid this woman, probably had somebody else pay him money. My friend that put that in my drink. And he looked at me in the eyes after we left and he said, um, please let me know if you're going to be, or if you're home safe. And I felt a little weird on my way home, and I was like, that's kind of weird. But I got home and um, it was like a week or so later. I had somebody break into my house, and it was a man. I think it was a man. Yeah, it was a man. And this man sexually assaulted me with like a vibrating handheld device. I woke up in the middle of the night. It was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And it was vibrating on my genitalia. And I was like, what the heck's going on? And I felt so tired. I felt overwhelmed with tiredness. But as soon as I was like, what the heck's going on? The guy just left and walked down the stairs, left my room, walked down the stairs, and probably out my house. I was terrified. I didn't want to, and I was also really sleepy. Like I felt like, I mean, I could move. I moved around, but I was like, what in the heck's going on? It was so terrifying for me. And I felt embarrassed and ashamed of myself. I was demasculated. Like, my masculinity kind of like was hurt, and I just remember feeling like ashamed about what happened. And the next month, the next weird thing that happened, I mean, there was a bunch of weird stuff that I've documented, but the next big thing was the month of October after my birthday. My sister came over, my youngest sister came over, and we all had tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. And I don't know, somebody put probably the same stuff in that tomato soup, and I ate it, and all of a sudden my memories started going away. It was like immediate. And the reason why I think everybody wasn't affected is because it only responds to a signal, right, that's produced in an implant in the back of your neck. And it's about 1 millimeter big. It's not very big at all, but it's nanotechnology. And as soon as I ate the tomato soup, it started affecting me because the transmitter was telling it to erase my memory. And that's when my memory really started happening. But before that and since, they've been doing brain mapping. So environmental stimulus or whatever maps your brain. It's not only movement of your body, because that's a part of it, but your heart rate, literally everything that your central nervous system does can be tracked and traced to see where these receptors are going, where they've attached to. And it uses sound waves. So to lock it in, which happened in April of last year, almost a year ago. Um, you can use sound waves to, or they use sound waves. It sounds crazy, but it's the way it is, to lock in these receptors to where they're at. So they can't be released, but they actually can be released. Um, I think that they can. Some people don't believe that because there's a lot of people that want them out. Very rich and powerful people, but once they're in, they're in. So they say, but I don't believe it. You just need to know the code or whatever. Anyway, and so that was October of 22. And then it was January of 23. My parents got paid some money by these people to, I think, to sign over like some sort of conservatorship or something like that, which was a false one, right? Like, these people have been like attacking my friends, my networks, and also using this technology, which is vast and extensive. It's not just this stuff, right? It's also microwave weapons that, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of, like the Cuba, our diplomats that were in Cuba that got attacked by microwave type weapons. The cicadas in the tree, like people heard cicadas, like weird stuff, weird noises. That is exactly the technology that was used on me in 2016 in my house in Kearns, Utah, up in near Salt Lake County. And I documented that. It was 2016, and I just got done listening to, it was the debates of the presidential debates, and I was like kind of piping off about the debates, how stupid it was, and like it just seemed so fake. And I went to bed. I took a Benadryl, but before I'd even had a chance to work, I laid down in my bed, and all of a sudden I heard like weird noises, and like I'm like, what the heck? And so I ran out, and I was like, that did not come from me. It was like, it felt like something from outside. And so I ran outside my house in the backyard, and I looked near my bed where the outside wall is. There's aluminum siding, and it had been ripped away from the wall. And I was like, that, I park my car right there every day, and it was not like that. I later found out that the cameras, my sister had security cameras, they were cut. And I was like, what happened? She's like, oh, I ran it over with the lawnmower. And I'm like, the lawnmower is not up that high. She was like worried or something like that, to say something. Like, they were cut higher than the lawnmower could get to them. And so I was like, that's weird. But anyway, fast forward, there's been a lot of other stuff that's happened to me, but the biggest one is, where I used to work at Liquid Dry, they they were attacking people that I worked with the same technology and the same means and methods to get them to do stuff against me, against their will. And a lot of people knew about it, but they never said anything. And if they did say anything, it was just because they were forced in ways, right, to do so. And I just wanted to like give a quick update, because my parents, just the other night, my dad, I think, gave a large dose of this stuff to my entire family when we were in the living room. And I thought, well, if I don't say anything, then I'm kind of like at fault too. Like, if I don't say anything, my family, like, I'm no better than all the other people that didn't say anything or didn't do anything. And even though I have said a lot, I've been begging people to pay attention to this for so long that I was kind of tricked into not saying anything because they wanted me to not have a job that I really wanted. And it was kind of like, if you stayed silent, then you could get your job type of thing. And it's not about them giving me a job, it's about me earning it and being a good fit for it. And they don't want that. They want me to be something else, law enforcement is my dream. I have a bunch of inventions that I want to do. um, you know some of my inventions are, hydroponic alfalfa farming, like indoor farming, amongst other things. Like, not just alfalfa, but you could do a bunch of different things with hydroponics. In the way that I want to do it, it's going to be beneficial for the future, right? Like growing all this stuff indoors, and then harvesting it indoors automatically, potentially. So the reason why I'm speaking about this is because I'm like being attacked right now just for being down here in southern Utah. And also, I just wanted to, I mean, I've already made videos about this, I've documented stuff about this, but if I don't say something now, you know, those other things could be compromised. And the future is way too important for that to happen. And if I ever do forget about who I am and what I'm here to do, you know, being in law enforcement means the most to me, but I mean, not the most. That's just like the first step in many, many other steps. I like to write songs. I like to write, I'm writing a musical that I created called Silence of the Lambs. And um, it's kind of a funny rendition of Silence of the Lambs movie, but as a musical. And it's just something creative that I've done, and other things. But the other things that I like to write, there's a book I want to write, Shadows of Red Rock, which is, you know kind of where I'm at, but it's not. It doesn't take place here entirely. But anyway, I just wanted to document this just in case I forgot. But it's it is due to, in my opinion, kind of reckless, or not kind of recklessness by people that want to try and control, you know, rather than seek to understand.